Hey, fuckers. This is Sunday, June 19th, 2016. June 19th is Father's Day. Well, now, isn't that just precious? Hello, Father. Are you still alive? We have not communicated in several years because my father is a cowardly, manipulative, lying, abusive cunt who should have been put in prison a long time ago. I'm not sure how much I want to say this time. I made another one which had a few details of the abuse, but anyway, my abuse was not typical. Let me see the timing here. Let's say 41 to 56. 56. No? 41 to... Yeah, 41 to 56. You don't have to worry about that. Abuse goes on under your noses constantly. Not just every once in a while. It's everywhere. But like a lot of other things, the citizenry and the non-citizenry are too scared to acknowledge reality, so they hide away from it. Well, eventually, the reality is going to come up and hit you right in the face. There are people that warn you of stuff, but you don't listen. You make stupid jokes and remarks and everything. Anyway, I was abused in not so brutal ways like, full closed fist punching and stuff like that. There was a tremendous amount of slapping, though. Slap the kid, slap the kid, slap the kid. My mother was in on it, my father was in on it, and my sister was in on it. Although my sister rarely, if ever, slapped me, but she did used to kick me under the table, and she would punch me once in a while. My father protected my mother and sister. As I got older, I could have defended myself, but with all of them and all the threats and everything, I was confused and I didn't know what to do. My father was in on it since it's Father's Day. But Dad was in on it, and I'm right here to say, fuck you, Dad. Got that? Right there. And I got a lot to say about you, Father, especially if this shit winds up in court. Turns out that when I have to and when my back is against the wall, Father, I do pretty damn good in court. Because I don't lose my cool. And when I'm settled, the only thing I do is get shaky. That's all I've ever done. Well, no. When I was younger, people used to know how to push my buttons, and then later I lost the buttons. I just got rid of them. My father used to slap me all over the house. Not real hard, and not physically pushing me across the house, but it was more like, at very roughly 5 times a day, my father would just pick something to blow up at and smack the kid, smack the kid, smack the kid. My mother used to smack me more, I think. I can't really remember. I do remember that my mother could do it repeatedly in one session. Smack, smack, And my big sister was in on all of it. And the three of them, my mother, my father, and my big sister, used to encourage each other to go crazy on me. And I would either get slapped or spanked, and even more often, I was yelled at and criticized. I could be yelled at because the waitress didn't come in time. My family liked to attack waitresses that were scared and didn't know what to do and all that sort of thing. So they would pick up real quick on whether or not a waitress was timid and scared, and then they would tee off on her. And even after my mother died, when I think I was, I was 18 when my mother died. God damn her soul to hell. My father and sister's main hobby was to go to a restaurant, get a timid waitress, and tee off on her. Call the supervisor and try to get her fired. And when that didn't work, they also would carefully compose a letter, and they would talk for months and years later about what's going to happen and what did happen and what Daddy did, because the waitress shouldn't talk like that to Daddy. But when he would see one that he was afraid of, he would say, "She's tough, I like her." My father was actually psychotic along with the other two. And I was blamed for everything. My family used to blame me for everything under the sun, and they would put me on the spot constantly embarrassing me in front of the guests. For instance, I was royally scolded because, you see, my big sister was a little bit more than a year. Well, she was a year and a half older than me. So my parents were older than me, so they could do whatever they want. My big sister was a year and a half older than me, so because she was older, she could stay up an hour later. So every night I had to go to bed an hour earlier than her. But I gotta sync that with something that I guess when she had something to do the next day, like swimming or school or something like that, she would go to bed in an earlier hour. Another thing I remember is being forced, I mean through threat of violence, that I had to kiss I had to go into my sister's bedroom and kiss my sister on the cheek. I think they made that up later on to humiliate and degrade me. It's kind of like kissing somebody's ass. But I had to go and kiss my sister on the cheek goodnight when I was having more and more trouble with her and trying to stand up to her. And my sister was very, very bullish, so you don't know her. I may get into it sometime. But my father used to slap me approximately 5 times a day, and he used to yell at me, and you never knew when he was going to yell. And he would set me up constantly. He would embarrass me in front of the guests. So I would be told to go to bed. It's late. And of course, my sister would manage to stay up later. But when I was up and the light was on, they used, especially my mother, but my mother would freak out on me, and they would support her. And I would be put to bed, I used to have these braces and everything, and I was forced to get into my pajamas before they would always have these parties all the time. These were upper end parties, but they were still parties. And I had to go to bed because, I'm the youngest, so you have to go to bed. So when the guests were there and everybody was assembled and milling around upstairs in the living room and the dining room and the kitchen and talking and everything, my father would say, "Where is he?" He would say my name, actually, but I'm not. Just sometime I'll give it out, or I don't know. But anyway, he would. I'm just using he instead of my name. Where is he? Doesn't he want to say hello to our guests? And I'm standing, I'm in my bedroom downstairs in my pajamas with my braces on. And then sometimes, once or twice, one of them, I think it was, I can't remember, it was my mother or my father, they would come downstairs and they would throw the door open and everybody would see me, scared to death, totally confused, angry, which is the product of abuse, and standing there in my fucking pajamas and my fucking braces. So this is for you, Dad. And for the rest of the family and all of the relatives, friends, and neighbors that took their side. You knew damn well what was going on. Fuck you all, but this one's for you, Dad. Fuck you. Fuck you. And I ain't scared to go to court. So if you take me to court, there's going to be a child abuse charge. There's going to be a child abuse charge against you, Father, and that's going to be it for you. They'll lock you up forever. And I can stand up against you and all the relatives all at the same time, and I can do it all alone. Fuck you. Fuck you, Father's Day. That's to my father. Fuck you.